You know that tax refund you're expecting? That nice little chunk of change you get every year? Have you ever thought of it as more than just a bonus, but as a real, actual asset you could use right now? Well, today we're diving into a protocol that does exactly that. It's all about turning a future promise into cash in your hand today. I mean, it's a huge question, right? So many of us build our budgets around that expected money, but it's always locked away, stuck on the IRS's timeline. This whole explainer is about finding a way to skip the waiting game, how to turn that future IOU from the government into immediate, usable cash. And this is how it's done. It's called the Tax Refund Collateral Protocol. You can think of it as a bridge connecting the dots between old-school tax law and cutting-edge financial tech. The goal is super simple. Transform your expected refund into a secure, verifiable piece of collateral. So what's the magic trick here? Well, it all comes down to one word: collateralization. All it really means is that you're using something you own in the future, in this case, a payment that the government owes you, to get financing today. This protocol just provides the legal and the tech framework to make sure it all happens safely and securely. Okay, I know what you're thinking. Turning a government promise into a real financial instrument sounds complicated, but the protocol actually breaks it all down into a super clear step-by-step path. So let's walk through exactly how it works, from the initial legal paperwork all the way to getting the cash. Here's the roadmap for the journey. The whole thing is built on four main pillars. First, you lay the legal foundation. Second, you protect that foundation out in the open. Third, you make sure the government is in the loop. And finally, you let technology handle the payout automatically. Let's dig into each one. All right, step one is the Smart Security Agreement. This is the bedrock of the whole process. It's the legal document that officially says, hey, my future tax refunds for, say, 2023, 2024, and 2025 are being used as collateral. And here's the cool part. By recording it on the blockchain, that agreement becomes permanent. It's set in stone, and no one can ever change it. So a private agreement is great, but how do you protect your claim in the real world? That is where the UCC1 filing comes in. This is a standard move in the financial world. Think of it like planting a flag. It's a public notice that tells everyone else this asset, this tax refund is already spoken for. It legally secures your spot at the front of the line. Now, for any of this to work, you have to play by the IRS's rules. That's where two very specific forms come in. First is Form 2848, which is a power of attorney. This just gives a designated person permission to talk to the IRS for you, to verify things are moving along. Then you have Form 8302. This one registers them as an electronic return originator, which is basically the official key to the IRS's secure digital system. Together, these forms create a legitimate, authorized channel of communication. And finally, the payoff. The money for the deal is held in what's called a multi-signature escrow. Fancy term, but it just means it's a digital safe that requires multiple keys to open. No one person can just run off with the funds. The release is controlled by a smart contract that only unlocks the money when all the rules are met, like confirming the UCC1 is filed and the IRS forms are approved. It's all automated, totally transparent, and you don't have to trust anyone, just the code. Okay, we're talking about legal filings, blockchain, smart contracts. So the big question, how do you know you can trust any of this? Well, the protocol's security is really built on two powerful pillars: the authority of old school law and the certainty of brand new technology. Let's see how they work together. This is where it gets really clever. On one side, you have a civil law notary. Now, this is not the person at the bank who just watches you sign something. A civil law notary actually verifies the content of the documents, giving them a much stronger legal standing, especially across different countries. Then on the other side, you have the notary chain blockchain, which creates a permanent, unfakeable digital receipt of that notarization. So you get the power of human legal authority backed by bulletproof digital verification. It's the best of both worlds. And of course, your personal information has to be kept safe through all of this. Every single document, from that first agreement to your IRS forms, is locked down with AES 256 encryption. To put that in perspective, this is the same standard used by governments to protect top-secret information. So yeah, your data is secure. So let's take a step back and look at the big picture. What does this all really mean? This whole system is way more than just a trick to get your tax refund a little early. It actually starts to change the way we think about what an asset even is. There's a quote from the source material that just nails it perfectly. It says, this process transforms static legal claims into global investment assets, connecting courts to capital markets.
You're taking something that was just a piece of paper, a claim stuck in a legal system, and turning it into a dynamic financial tool that can be used anywhere in the world.
But if there's one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. You are turning a future promise from the government into a real, tangible financial instrument that you can hold and use today. It's about unlocking the value of money that is already yours. It's just been stuck behind red tape. This protocol is the key to that lock. And that leaves us with a pretty wild final thought. If we can make a tax refund a liquid asset, what's next? Your future paychecks? The sales commissions you know you're going to earn next quarter? Once you can securely tokenize any predictable future income, the possibilities are just mind-boggling to think about. Thanks for tuning into this explainer.